We're all born and we all die. And at least in this culture, we handle the birth part great. We celebrate it, we're wonderful with it. We handle the death part very badly. So that's where organizations like the Center for Grieving Children not only provides direct support for people going through grief, but it really spreads the word about grief education.
The services and support that the Center for Grieving Children provides are really tailored towards helping children and families in three main areas, and that's belonging, hopefulness, and family support.
You don't have to do this on your own.
Well, the vision, mission, and purpose of the organization, that it's about supporting children and families, and that no child should grieve alone.
With my two daughters, when their mom died, is they feel incredibly alone. They feel incredibly vulnerable.
If you were a 6-year-old kid in school and you're the only one that lost their dad, would you want to be singled out like that? No, you'd want a place where you could come and just be you and not be the little guy that lost his dad.
Children's natural tendency is to feel as though I'm the only person this has ever happened to. And when they come to the center and they meet other children their age who've gone through exactly the same circumstances, it's a revelation for them. And then it's a relief for them. And then they can start to really process their grief.
Grief is a lifelong experience.
Grief is shapeless and formless. It's like quicksand. And you're trying to work your way through it, and you make 10 steps forward, and then it's 12 steps backwards. It's a difficult process, but it's a process.
What we want for them is not have that grief be distressing. And the best way that we can do that within our model is to reduce the feelings of isolation so that they know they're not the only one who's going through this and that they can get through it. The feeling that what you have to say and what you do matters.
It's very difficult to generate hope, right? To generate this kind of sense that, yeah, I've got something to look forward to. And unfortunately, some people are trapped by that.
One of the stories that sticks in my mind the most, a child, and this was a long time ago, but she said, "The center taught me that it's okay to be happy again." And that just struck me so deeply because I couldn't imagine what would it be like to be a child, 10 years old, and think that you couldn't be happy again.
It's hard for them to make sense of this death, this big loss in their life, so how do we expect them to make sense of their future? And they really struggle with that.
Belonging and hopefulness, those all come from being surrounded by a caring community, which like you experience at the Center for Grieving Children.
You can go to the center and get permission to have a good day. That was really hard. How can I have a good day? You know, the rest of my life should be horrible. When I came in and said, I had a great day today, I had a lot of fun, is that okay? That resonated with my adult group, and they told me it's okay. And I'm not sure it would have resonated so well with other people.
Some people think by the name of our organization that this is just a sad place, and really what comes out of going there.
There was one time in particular, most staff members had left and the volunteers are here, and the place is starting to get a buzz upstairs. So I go into the parking lot and there's this young mom, beautiful woman sitting there with her twins. And they're literally busting out of the car so they could run through the butterfly garden. You hear so many stories about people, it's the Center for Grieving Children, that it must be really a sad, such a terrible place. But seeing those two little twin boys jumping over each other, in the butterfly garden to be the first into the door, that feels good.
What brought me to the Center for Grieving Children is the sudden death of my daughter. The center is about community. I was so gracious to have experienced this gift of unconditional love that I hoped that at some point I'd be able to come back and be a volunteer, which was another marker for me in terms of how I was doing in my journey.
That's the gift of the hopefulness that I think the center brings.
The family model is so important. We educate adults about how to support children and how to talk to the children about what has happened.
If we can help the parents learn some skills and ways to talk with their children about the loss and their feelings, the kids are going to be in better shape.
When children come to the center and when adults come to the center and they're able to embrace their grief and process their grief and become more comfortable with it, they start to send out the message clearly. It's okay to talk about the person that died.
So what we're trying to do is help the family become more in control of their lives.
Children are really, they're kind of tribal critters, right? They like to be in with other kids, and for them to realize that they've got a tribe at the center that knows what they're going through, that is going through the same things themselves, that really helps them.
This is the community holding these families when they're going through a very, very tender time in their life.
We have a beautiful group of about 250 volunteers that last year gave 26,000 volunteer hours to the Center for Grieving Children.
These families then are wrapped around a great support by all of the volunteers.
When I came to the center, I didn't have to worry about would my insurance cover this. I didn't have to worry about was there a copay. I didn't have to worry about was there a membership fee or anything like that.
We provide our services for free. We've done that for 31 years, and the hope is the next 30 will be able to do exactly the same.
We have a limited time on the planet, right? We really have to appreciate the time that we have. We have to make the most of it. But we also have to realize that there's an end to that.
When we started it 31 years ago, the Center for Grieving Children, we were the third in the US, and now there's over 300. You often hear the word closure, which sometimes makes it sound like it's in a box or tied up with a bow and it's all taken care of, but it's not. It's about it being integrated into who you are, but it's how you translate that into being positive and being a role model in the community.
I say this all the time without exaggeration that the center really saved my family.